What is going on, guys? Horizon here, and on today's episode of RLCS Game Plan, we're going to be taking a deep dive into what went wrong for Karmine Corp in the grand finals of the European Fall Invitational against Team Liquid. For today's analysis, we're going to be hopping on board with Vatira, but before we do get into it, as you guys know by now, I am pushing to reach 500 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you wouldn't mind helping us achieve that goal by clicking that bright red subscribe button right down below this video, I would very much appreciate it. With that all said, let's go ahead and jump right on into this, on board with Vatira here. The old moist boy, swapped over to KC, off we go. Nice little control on the backboard here, just sticking behind the ball to make sure that Liquid can't get through us. Very nicely done. Little bump there, maintain the boost control, we love that. So right here, I would like to see a little bit more patience. We have Exotiik coming off the wall here with control of the ball. Atow's coming down in front of him. He gets the touch, but Exotiik now locks right on Atow and takes him right out of the way, which means we have a little bit more room here, so we don't need to rush this touch. We can actually take our time, take control of this ball up the wall, and actually do something with the amount of boost that we have. I don't know if we didn't realize that Exotiik was going to get this bump, so we just went as fast as possible. But we end up touching this ball in such a way that it's really difficult for us to get back to. Kind of ends up just giving away possession of the ball and keeping us locked in our own half here. Good clear over to the side. Rotating back around, not a whole lot going on right now. This is a little bit odd from Exotiik and Vatira. Vatira should definitely just let Exotiik do whatever he wants to do in this situation. It's almost like he's tunnel vision on what's going on with the ball and not watching what Exotiik is doing. But Exotiik is very clearly having the same thought as Vatira, and okay, I see this ball is going to be cleared to the left side, so I'm going to go grab the mid boost and get ready to push up for this clear. Vatira has the same idea, and unfortunately they get into a little bit of an awkward situation where I think Vatira snags his boost from Exotiik. So Exotiik doesn't even see Vatira here. Exotiik makes this turn expecting that he's going to pick up the boost and be able to challenge this, and now all of a sudden he just doesn't get the boost. So he's like, wait, what? Oh, Vatira's here. So now they pause for a second, and now Vatira moves forward, which just delays their challenge a little bit and allows Oski to get past him just a little bit easier. So a little bit of miscommunication and confusion there from Exotiik and Vatira. This is a really nice series of touches here from Vatira. So as he comes forward, Exotiik and Itachi are both recovering in our opponent's corner. So the trap that a lot of players, especially at the lower ranks, fall into is the ball will fall to them and they'll see an opportunity to pass the ball into the midfield, which is a great idea if you actually have players available for it. But a lot of people struggle with the fact that there's not players available for it and they still touch the ball into the midfield. And if you touch the ball into the midfield when you don't have any teammates available, all it is a pass to the other team and a free clear for them. So Vatira recognizes, okay, I don't have any teammates available in the midfield for me to pass this ball to. So I can't hard touch this off the backboard or off the corner as I would probably normally do if I had a player in a shooting position. Instead, I'm going to take this ball nice and slow, control it onto the backboard so I can get back to it, and then take a 50 with a Atow. So doing that allows KC to maintain possession in the offensive half. The ball falls into the corner, Vatira sees Liquid's boost, goes and grabs it. Now, generally, the general idea in this situation is for Vatira to just rotate out of the play, allow Itachi to come back in. Itachi does start to turn, but Vatira calls him off as he sees that this ball is coming directly across to him. So he knows that he is currently in the best situation to be able to attack whatever touch is coming from Exotiik. And due to the positioning of acronik, it's going to be really awkward for acronik to deal with if Oski can't get in front of this pass. So Exotiik gets the pass over, and Vatira is right here, ready to shoot the ball, and Liquid's not ready for it. And he's able to just put it on home. So the initial control from Vatira is what directly leads to this goal, because it's that control that allows KC to maintain possession. He then makes the incredibly smart play to go steal Liquid's boost, recognizes where the ball is going to fall to, and cuts the rotation back into the play so we can be the first to it to put an awkward shot on. And the combination of that positioning, which is probably very unexpected from Liquid, the lateral movement of the ball, and the final shot placement from Vatira makes it almost impossible for the Team Liquid defense to react and put a stop to this offensive drive. Okay, so I feel like this is another bit of a rushed sequence. So we pick up the boost right here. Now, as Itachi comes in for this shot, he's going to get demoed, but we currently have two Liquid players who have both jumped back towards their own net, which means their momentum is carrying them away from the ball. So I recognize that we're getting smoke screened here, so it's really hard for us to see exactly where the ball is. But we did see that we had two Liquid players kind of flailing a bit out of the play, so they're going to take at least a couple of seconds to be able to turn themselves around and be ready to attack the ball. With this in mind, we have the boost, and they're not going to know the exact angle that we're going to attack this ball coming out of the smoke screen. We should take our time with this and attempt to chip the ball around them to allow us to maintain possession, rather than just flopping wildly at the ball because we don't really know where it is either, and just giving away possession. We should recognize that we have a little bit of time, so we don't need to rush this touch. Let's just wait patiently for a second, wait until we can identify where the ball is appropriately, and then make a smart play on it, rather than panicking when we do have a little bit of time to deal with this ball. Because instead of possibly chipping this ball to the right side and maintaining control, we just kind of slap it forward, and Oski gets a free touch. Luckily, it's not a great one, and we're able to kind of rotate back in, so we do maintain control, but not the best touch from Vatira allows Liquid an opportunity to get out. Not the biggest fan of this play, so we're low boost coming across the field. Oski's coming in. Oski's already jumped, so he is committed to what he's doing. He still has his flip, so there's nothing we're really going to be able to do to touch this ball around Oski, because any touch we get, unless we can hard cut this ball to the left, is going to be dunked by Oski. So I would actually like to see Vatira immediately fake off this and flip back towards this corner. Let Oski touch this, and let the ball roll into our own corner. By doing that, we're going to secure control of the ball as well as boost, which means we can then take control and make a play to get the ball back out of our half. Instead, we just kind of give this little tap towards Oski, and he immediately dunks it, which is going to still roll the ball into our own corner, but now Oski is going to get the boost, which is going to allow Oski to maintain control of the play. So it'd be much better to force Oski to do something that is favorable for us, rather than basically handing Oski the opportunity to maintain control of the play. And as we see, maintain control of the play he does. This is really aggressive positioning. So, Exotiik is in our opponent's corner. Itachi is challenging the ball on the sidewall, but it is clear that acronik has the upper hand in this challenge. But Vatira still pushes forward as if Itachi is going to win this 50. And by pushing forward here, we have now put all three of our players right in line or in front of the ball. And this now allows Liquid to go on a pretty strong counterattack, while all three KC members are very quickly trying to retreat on defense. And we'll see pretty quickly that this becomes a big problem. Because acronik gets a touch, we do get a bit of a stall touch from Vatira, which at least stalls the attack a little bit. But now acronik keeps coming forward, demos Exotiik off the play, which now leaves Vatira totally alone. So one demo, and now atow, one quick fake later, and it's in our net. If Vatira had stayed a little bit more patient and had not played so aggressively for that challenge on the sidewall, he very possibly would have been in a situation to deal with this no problem, because acronik didn't have the best control of the ball coming off the challenge, and Vatira would have at least been there to put in a challenge of his own. And with a 1-goal lead in a game we need to win, we don't need to be taking any kind of positional risks. If we had stayed more patient, Liquid simply would not have had that strong of a counterattack. Good block by Exotiik there to spring us downfield. Bump attempt. Hanging on the goal line. So, right here, I would actually like to see Exotiik stay on the ground as he goes for the bump attempt. And here's why. By jumping, he is going to keep Oski firmly planted on the ground, because if Oski jumps, he gets bumped. Because of the minimal amount of boost that Vatira has, having Oski jump early, which is what would happen if Exotiik stays on the ground more than likely, would force Oski into a bit of an awkward situation, because if he jumps, Vatira now kind of has the upper hand, because Oski might assume that Vatira has the boost to go for a high-flying aerial play. However, Vatira doesn't, so Oski might be a little more susceptible to fakes and things like that, as if Oski jumps, it becomes a bit more of a mental battle, bit more mind games going on. By Exotiik forcing Oski to stay on the ground, with how slow Vatira is dribbling this ball towards the net, Oski has time to just let Exotiik fly by, take himself out of the play, then diagnose where Vatira is going, and get up and get the save on the shot. So this entire situation really comes down to the scenario that Vatira's in. If Vatira has a lot of boost, and can go for a really high-flying play, Exotiik should keep Oski on the ground. If Vatira has low boost, which in this situation he does, and it's going to be a bit of a slower, methodical, mind-gamey attack, we want Oski to jump so that Oski has to think through what we're doing and can't just sit on the ground and wait for us. And now another thing I want to look at is what happens after this challenge comes out. So we almost force the ball into the net, doesn't quite work out. But look again at the position of all three KC players. They're all pushed up, all in the final third of Liquid. And I understand that the situation looked awkward, might have looked a little juicy for Itachi to push in for this, but now all we're doing is having all three KC members stuck in basically Liquid's corner, while Liquid is able to launch a counterattack. So again, we find ourselves playing frantic, retreating defense, trying to get back in time, while all three members of Liquid are able to bear down on us. And again, we have 2 minutes left, the score is tied. Why are we pushing so aggressively into the offensive half in a tie game that we need to win? It just doesn't make sense, and it feels like there's a lack of understanding of time and score coming from the KC side right now. Some more midfield play going on. Nice 50 from Vatira, gonna keep the ball in the corner. And then this is actually a huge clear. So, leading up to this, we can see that Liquid's kind of starting to get a stranglehold on the play. So, we've kind of found ourselves in an awkward situation with acronik coming off the sidewall, pretty threatening position that acronik's in. We're stuck on the backboard, a little bit awkward for us, but Vatira just remains calm, takes the 50 with acronik, knows he's going to get beat by Oski, so doesn't panic, lets Oski have the touch, and then immediately diagnoses where Oski's going with this ball, and beats him up to the ceiling to get the pinch clear. That is a huge clear from Vatira, because it allows KC to break out. The longer you allow a team like Liquid to remain on the offensive end, the harder and harder it's going to get to break out. So the fact Vatira was able to remain calm in that situation, diagnose what was happening with the play, take some calm 50-50s, and then get this pinch clear was huge for KC's chances in this match. Now, over the course of the last minute, not a whole lot really goes on. It's really just some solid back and forth between the two teams, couple of booms here and there. No one really has that substantial of an attack on the net, nothing overly threatening. So we're going to go ahead and just fast forward to overtime to see how this finishes up. And away we go. Into overtime we go. See who gets the upper hand here. Decent clear out by Exotiik. This is smart from Vatira. He kind of wants this corner boost, but he recognizes that atow is beating him to it, so he just turns off, doesn't worry about it. Smart play, just to remain patient. Little bit of a risky pre-jump here. We're positioned on the wall pretty perfectly. If Oski wants to get this ball in front, he has to go through us. And with where we are on the backboard, it's going to be really hard to do that without getting involved in a 50 with us in one way or another. But because we pre-jump, we kind of just let Oski past us for free, which, when we have one player sitting out in the box in front of us, and we don't exactly know where our third man is, we really don't want to give Oski a chance to drop a dangerous ball down in front. So we want to play patient here so we can make sure we get a solid 50. So we really want to make sure we're playing patient here so that we're not giving Liquid free attacks on our net and free passes out in front, because this could have ended a lot more dangerously than it did, but this pre-jump is just really risky, because we have no idea where Oski's going with this ball, and we're taking ourselves completely out of the play if we guess wrong, for no real reason. We guess wrong, luckily our defense does get back, Itachi scrambles and gets back in time, so we're good, but really risky pre-jump there when we could have just played more patient, and taken a solid 50, rather than jumping wildly for something we don't even know what's happening. Gonna take control, low boost here, gonna work our way up the wall, nice fake. Trying to fake out acronik. I do not like this bump attempt coming in from Exotiik. So Vatira has almost no boost. There's nothing Vatira is going to be able to do to put this ball into a threatening spot. Exotiik goes full force in for this demo. And if we look at the positioning of the KC players, once again, all three of them are in the same spots, all three of them pushing into the offensive half, and if this ball pinches out in such a way that acronik can maintain possession of it, Liquid's launching another counterattack, and we're again playing retreating defense with all three players. And this is all totally fine if Exotiik doesn't go for the bump. If Exotiik just plays the result of the 50 from Vatira and Itachi's a little further back, this is totally fine. Don't mind it at all. The fact that Exotiik dives for a bump, and then Itachi is positioned to play the outcome of the 50, is incredibly dangerous. If it works out and the 50 is favorable, that's great. Itachi's going to have the ball. But if it doesn't work out and the 50 is not great, we're in full retreat. Oh, that is a dangerous touch from Vatira. So the ball pinches actually straight towards Itachi. So we get that the ball bounces the way we want it to. So that's fine. Itachi has control. He takes the 50 with Oski. But now this touch from Vatira is about as dangerous as you can get. He doesn't know where exactly the next Liquid defender is going to come from. He could be right off screen getting ready to attack this ball as soon as you touch it. Vatira with his minimal boost tries to dump a pass off to Itachi to create a more threatening attack, when I think the safer option here would just be to control the ball and take an incoming 50 because you know it has to be coming. But instead, he chips this ball forward, and Atow should have absolutely slammed this ball on net, and that should be game. Game, set, match, game's over right here. Atow scores this. KC is so lucky that we didn't get toasted for this positioning and this weak touch from Vatira, because this absolutely should be game over right now, and our aggressive positioning would have again been the reason for us to give up a goal. Good challenge off the backboard from Vatira. Not the best touch, but does get a little bit of distance on it. Weak shot coming in from acronik, not a huge problem. And again, look at this incredibly heavy commit. So, Itachi and Vatira, both airborne. Exotiik in our opponent's corner. We get blocked, and now look at the position we're in. Again, we have all three KC members in front of the ball, and all of Liquid prepared to go on a counterattack. So again, we're diving in for opportunities that aren't even there. There's no real outcome that can really come from that attack, because we were only going to get a 50 with Oski. That was the best we were going to get. We weren't going to beat him out. So the fact that we're so willing to dive for this when we need to win this game, and we're in overtime, is just absolutely baffling, because again, Liquid's going to launch a counterattack, and all three of us are scrambling back. And look at what this is going to cause. Panic double commit. We grab boost. No one's set on defense. We're scrambling back. Someone needs to go. Jump early. And we got flip reset on. This all comes down to this aggressive push. Because we get a 50. And that's all we're going to get. There's no way we're beating Oski to that ball. And now we're just in full scale retreat. And the initial panic of the retreat causes Itachi and Exotiik to double commit. Lack of communication there. No one being clear on who takes the ball. We get a really weak clear. Vatira does take the opportunity to go get this boost, but now Exotiik and Vatira need to quickly organize who's going for this. What does Exotiik's boost look like? 4. So Exotiik can't even jump for this. So we have someone stuck on the ground who literally can't do anything. Vatira with full boost. Vatira and Exotiik needed to determine who was going to go for this ball a lot faster. I don't know if Exotiik lacked the comms to tell Vatira he didn't have boost, but Vatira should be jumping for this ball as soon as possible to cut down Atow's options, because as soon as Atow has this much time and gets to the slip reset, we're done. Because any shot on the net that's high into the net, Exotiik won't be able to defend because he has no boost. So Vatira needed to jump earlier for this, and that would have given us at least a chance to get it clear, but we still have 2 more Liquid players bearing down on us, and we would have only had 1 player back with 0 boost. Highly unlikely that we're able to make a play that gets us out of this jam. But this all comes back to just the aggressive, unnecessary positioning from KC, and it's so annoying to watch this, because you look at it and go, okay, KC, you were in a pretty good spot most of this game. Realistically, Liquid didn't create any of the chances that they ended up scoring on. You gave them to them. You just said, hey, Liquid, don't worry about trying to create your own offensive chances. we're gonna really aggressively push up into the offensive half and give you free counterattack after free counterattack. They're lucky they only gave up 2 in this game, because realistically it could have been 3. They were able to scramble back fast enough on the second time they overcommitted. But just unnecessary overcommits, and all it is just recognizing time and score. If you know how much time is left in the game and what the score situation is, you know how much you need to commit. If you're winning, chill out. The one big lesson KC needs to learn to be consistently successful is time and score. Once they're able to identify time and score consistently in all of the decisions they make, they're going to be darn near impossible to beat, at least for the teams in Europe. Because if they didn't have those overcommits, Liquid didn't create any opportunities of their own. So thank you everybody so much for watching, as I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.